almost left Chris for dead.
Oh, no.
At the end of
Why
that,
does that happen so
at
quickly?
the end of that, Nick said, "You are one hard person to kill."
He's like,
Hello, everybody. Welcome to episode 524. And in this episode, we're talking with Chris Salemi, Nick Mutton, and Ryan Young about their recent trip to Thailand. They didn't find a ton of herps that they were looking for. However, they still had a great time and have stories to share with us. And that's the thing. I think a lot of times people think that when we're on these herping trips that you're just going to walk off the plane and find a land full of reptiles and amphibians. But the idea that we sort of stumble upon this snake that's crossing the road exactly when we get there is kind of crazy if you think about it. And we get into that. But without further ado, let's get into it and hear all about what it's like herping Thailand. We're all fans of herping or whatever, and what made you guys want to go to Thailand? Like, what was the draw to there?
Well, I'll answer. Originally, me and Nick were going to go to Australia.
Okay,
and the ticket prices were just, insane.
Right.
And then Nick suggested, you suggested Ecuador and the Galapagos, and then I guess you spoke to Ryan. And he suggested Thailand?
I don't actually remember. I remember we were planning it, looking into the Ecuador and Galapagos. It's doable, but it seemed like there's not much tourist infrastructure in mainland Ecuador. So we didn't have our window of time before we had to go was closing very rapidly, and we did not have time to adequately plan the logistics of Ecuador because when you fly into Ecuador, you're flying into Quito, which is in the middle of a low depression in between two ridges of the Andes Mountains. So it's basically right in exactly where you don't want to be. All the rainforest is on either side, so you have to leave there. And there's not a lot of airports or a lot of infrastructure. So,
well, I don't think we could get a straight answer as to what their COVID situation was as far as if they were letting you travel or not either.
Oh, okay.
Which turned out to be a substantial roadblock to traveling at all, really. We ended up in Thailand and Vietnam largely because they're the only two countries in the region that had no COVID policy at all anymore, that had done away with all of that. All the others had some sort of restrictions, quarantining requirements, and
yeah, we thought about adding, I think, Malaysia to it. There's another country, and
Laos, Cambodia, and Malaysia.
We didn't want to get stuck. Two of us could enter, one of us can't.
Yeah.
That would suck.
We thought that might happen with Vietnam. I was having a hard time getting my.
You got some extra security there.
They're probably still pissed my dad was there.
I think everybody's dad was there.
Probably.
No, it was
So did you guys have like a specific species in mind that you were going to look that was your target, or did you just go in there to check it out, something different type of deal?
For me, it was something different, and this burning need to get out of the country and go on an adventure. Because we all got kind of like locked up and locked down and kind of kept stateside for so long. It was way overdue to get just anywhere.
Yeah, I had been to Belize a couple months prior. I went to Belize in February of that year.
Right.
And it wasn't really a herping trip, though. And then Nick and I went out to Utah and herped there for a bit.
Right.
But, trying to get out of the country and do some herping.
Yeah.
I didn't have crazy herping expectations. I didn't know how we'd get around or what kind of access we would have. So it was more like Mutton said, just got to get the heck out of here and go do something, have an adventure after being locked up for 2.5 years, 3 years.
Yeah. Oh man. Okay. What was the travel like? I know Chris sent me like he has
horrible.
To talk about that. Oh man.
Oh man. Yeah, no, the travel was less than ideal, I would say. international flights. Flights into and out of South Asia, they still have like kind of nonsensical COVID policies. Like you have to wear a mask the entire time you're flying, unless you're eating, and then you can take it off and you're not contagious while you're eating. Even though you're sitting like you're in constant physical contact with the guy next to you, you're just wedged in, and you're totally touching them the whole time, and you magically become the force field envelops you when you're eating and drinking something to prevent infection.
Yeah.
And then
the guy next to me, remember when he curled up in the cocoon for 14 hours?
Yeah.
He was mad I wasn't wearing a mask, and he kept turning me into the flight attendants, and they were trying to get me moved, and then he literally pulled his jacket over him and sat in his seat like a small petulant child and buttoned himself up for 10 hours straight.
Literally like 10 hours straight. He didn't eat or drink. He made a force field out of a windbreaker. And that was going to protect him, I guess.
Yeah, maybe.
No, not at all.
No.
It's just like, dude, like, come on. This is why science literacy is important, folks. A little bit of science education goes a long way. And you saw the lack of that on full display all over the place. Just nonsensical, I don't know. But that part kind of sucked. But beyond that.
We were also on separate flights, so all my flights were different from their two. And then there was the storm, so we got delayed. And once we each landed in Taiwan, right, and in Taipei on different flights. And luckily, they held the flights for us. I guess there were so many people on those incoming flights.
Right.
And I'm sure you dealt with it, Ryan. They like ushered you through. They had signs up, and I mean, they made sure you got on your flight. In the U.S., it would have been a complete shit show.
They'd have been like, "Good luck."
It's like you make it. No, the Taipei airport staff was great for that. There's literally like there was just people stationed every so often with signs directing you to the flow to make sure everybody was funneled right where they got to go as quickly as possible.
Yeah, and they opened these little checkpoints where they did the security screening, so you didn't have to go with all the other people and wait in a huge line. You only had to go with the people that were going where you were going.
Oh, cool.
Well, that's convenient.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we were super duper late getting in, but it was nice that they held the plane for us.
Yeah, when we were flying back from Australia, we had to go through Canada, and let me just tell you, that's a disaster. That whole place, because
that seems like an odd way to route your flights to fly
I don't know how they did
that.
I wasn't on this trip.
I have no idea. I don't know. But that was the only way that we could get there. And when we were walking through and following the signs to go through everything, and then we get to this dead end, and they're like, "Sorry, you have to," because we had a 14-hour layover, and they're like, "Sorry, you have to go back downstairs into the lobby and just wait there, and like at the entrance to the airport." So we're like, we have to do this all over again. And we went down. There was nowhere to sleep. Oh, it was terrible. I'm like, man, Canada sucks.
14 hours is that, not long enough to actually leave and go do anything, but long enough to be really upset about it. Yeah.
Right.
For the amount of flights that we had this whole trip, we did pretty good. We didn't run into, right? I don't think we ran into any problems, really. I mean, the amount of countries we hopped.
No, I think we did 10 flights total or something like that.
11 flights. Yeah, I had 11. I don't know.
Just one way?
No, total.
The whole trip.
Wow.
They had to get on 10 different planes just to get there. It's like, no,
ferry,
it's
a couple cabs. It's bus. It's all over the place.
Wow.
Ferries, boats.
Yeah, I love that receipt getting home from Catball. It was like it literally wrote ferry, bus, taxi, airplane.
Don't forget Tuk Tuk at one point. Like we're at the disco Tuk Tuk.
And then arriving in Catbah, it was there's a marathon going on, so you got to walk to your hotel because the bus can't take you there.
Yeah. Oh, I forgot all about that. It was not close either. It was like a couple of miles away.
So you're on, how long did it take to get there?
Longer than it should have because we couldn't find it.
Okay.
It's like there was like a half a street behind a street situation going where like clearly this was the only street, and they just kind of built a second row of hotels behind that without really a fully fledged out street. And you had to kind of go this very goofball way to get there. It took us a while to find it.
Oh, wow.
Didn't help that it was straight up the hill.
Oh, yeah.
It should have
just
been
adding insult to
It should
injury.
have been a warning about going for the hike we ended up going on, but you didn't pick up on that.
No herps on the hike to the hotel. Damn.
There's some skinks.
Yeah, some things.
There's,
Oh, okay.
there's
Well,
some skinks there.
it's something.
Vietnam was fun though. I don't know. I'm glad I went and did that.
What was the like? Is it like rainforest? Very humid, hot? What was it like?
Well, it's supposed to be humid and hot, but it ended up being humid and not so hot.
Oh,
Very comfortable, but comfortable is not necessarily the temperature range. You're not looking for comfortable temps if you're herping. You kind of want it to be hot and steamy.
I mean, on the island, we had to go to a shop and buy basically like not winter clothes, but sweatshirts and
Hoodies. Yeah,
shirts. It was it was 50 degrees at night.
It was,
shit.
it was a bit unseasonably. I mean, all you can do is you look at the weather historically. You're booking your tickets so far in advance. You don't know what it's going to be when you're there, but you can look at seasonally what it should be or thereabouts. But when you get there, sometimes it was, the rainy season was supposed to be over, a month before we got there, but nobody told the weather that. And it rained. It was cold and rainy almost all the time. So
Yeah, that's
it happens.
that's the crazy thing about herping, on a big international herp trip, right? You're sort of just you're hoping for the best type of deal, and you got to sort of adapt if situations don't become favorable.
I personally think that, I think a lot of people look at these, people post their pictures of their big herp trips, and they just think you fly there and show up, and then the reptiles come out to say hello, and it all goes great, and it's just as likely to be a total shit show as it is to go great. Like you go out looking for whatever, and some days you get skunked, don't see anything, nothing's moving at all, and sometimes it's like a cornucopia of stuff, and I think that the times where you strike out, kind of the only thing that gives the times that you find a bunch of stuff any meaning. Because if all you did was show up and everything was just right out and about, it would be too easy. It wouldn't be as cool.
I got that impression from people, at least, especially people that are not necessarily herpers, but they thought that when you just got off the plane in Australia, there'd just be, snakes and lizards running all around. There's iguana over there, just everywhere, It's not the case.
No.
Well, you kind of take for granted that Australia is actually relatively easy to herp. There's no language barrier. There's
right.
You can rent cars. It's easy to get around.
Yeah.
100%.
Wide open spaces. No weird, human issues to deal with. And
it's very
political unrest.
It was getting around on your own was pretty well not going to happen unless you were.
You know what fixed the language barrier? Money.
Yeah.
I fixed it real quick.
So what was that? I mean, what did you just? Did you
had
have
to pay like $1 million a night to get driven around?
It's not an exaggeration. It literally, we gave just trying to hire like a taxi driver to drive you around on backcountry roads was the most difficult thing you could imagine. Such a simple act. But trying to get somebody who doesn't really speak English to understand, you just want to go drive around in the woods and you'll pay me a bunch of money? They just couldn't. And you intentionally want to find snakes? Like, what? Like, it just did not compute at all. And,
wow.
These men are going to kill me out in the woods.
And the exchange rate is so absurd. So we literally offered, in Vietnam, the currency is the dong. Insert junior high joke there, but so we basically paid $1 million dongs every night. $1 million, which is basically like $37 or something. Like it was just
wow.
That's the great part about Vietnam, and in particular in Southeast Asia more generally. When we first got to Hanoi, we stayed at a little hotel right by the airport because we had to head out the first thing in the morning. and there's like a little noodle shop right there by the airport. And so we just stopped and got a big bowl of noodles, and like not just any noodles, like top of the line noodles with beef and all the stuff and all the things and everything in this big giant bowl of noodles. And it's awesome. And we're eating it. And I'm doing the math in my head and realize that the entire bowl cost 42 cents. It's like 42 cents. Like, so if nothing else, I'm going to eat a lot.
We may not find snakes, but I will not go hungry. Yeah.
Gained
He
11
didn't go
pounds.
hungry.
I gained 11 pounds in 13 days. So.
Good
Yeah,
God,
he
man.
couldn't catch a food court without eating.
That's a lot of food.
I have problems. Like when I'm home, like now I'm like super disciplined and regimented in what I eat and what I put in my body. But as soon as I'm on vacation, it's like, woohoo!
Yeah.
Just go absolutely just bananas and just eat everything and just.
There are no rules. Yeah.
No, it's like, oh my God. And it's not even like just eat what you want and be like a normal amount. Oh no, eat everything you can possibly stuff in your face so you're almost sick all the time.
Wow.
Just debauchery.
So this is not really herp related, but I'm just curious for somebody that's so regimented in health and fitness and watching what you eat and all that stuff. Don't you feel like total shit when you eat that much? Or like, how do you balance?
No, because bad food tastes amazing.
Well, sure it does, but it
It's.
runs your body like shit.
I mean, not to get too far off of track with things, but I thought when I used to be super out of shape and everything, and I thought when I got healthy that eventually there would be a time when you no longer missed or didn't really remember how good grease tastes. But turns out, no, it doesn't. It's as
always
good
there.
today as it ever was, and it's fatty, greasy food is awesome. Like, and you never forget that. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, Nick loved the cart where they basically poured batter into a pool of grease and then handed it to you in newspaper. It was just like old newspaper.
Remember, I got the one that was wrapped up in like some kid's math homework. It was like they made it was like a Vietnamese like street food. It was like a pancake batter, and they you could get it was like corn and like a pancake fritter, and they deep fry it right there. And there were a few other things, banana and smashed banana, and they had a couple types, and so it's like dripping with oil. Like it is the opposite of healthy eating, and it was so delicious. Like a smashed banana, smashed and deep fried in pancake batter. But yeah, they'd wrap it in like a piece of newspaper, and at one point it was like, this is somebody's kid's homework. It was like it's like their math homework. They had handwritten the answers in and everything, and that was just.
Oh man.
Well, it's good recycling.
Right?
There you go.
I have an immune system like a cockroach. Nothing's going to get me. So, not worried about it.
Nick is prepared for the end of the world.
More ways than one.
Yeah. Yes, exactly.
You got to get that gut flora in your gut. You got to get that built up.
Okay. I'm pulling down some of these pictures. Go ahead, Owen. I'm going to try to get these pictures.
So, like, aside from food and all this, like you said, there's some skinks the first night. Was there anything? What did you guys do after that first night? Like, what was the itinerary? Where were you headed out?
Well, we were in Thailand first, and
Okay.
The first couple of days were spent just exploring the city. But our first real night first day of herping,
Yeah.
we went. Like, instead of road cruising, it was inner tube down a river cruising.
Okay.
Ironically, the best night we had the whole trip.
Yeah. Best day we had herping the whole trip.
No
But
shit.
What were you guys looking for on the river? Like, crocodile
Retics, mangrove snakes.
Yeah, crocodile are a thing too, right? Like,
Not up in the mountains. We're in the Khao National Park, so there's no Siamese crocodiles are in the lowlands. They're not really up there in the mountains so much.
Okay. So definitely mangroves and retics.
Or a lot of like 5 or 6 mangroves.
Nice.
Oh yeah. They tend to curl up, and like during the day they hunker down on the ends of long branches that are out over the water, like an iguana would do. So presumably you could just jump in the water and flee to safety, but they're just way out there, and they're obviously they're bright yellow and black, so they're very conspicuous. They're not hard to spot.
All right.
That was a fun day. Like, well, I think, go ahead, Chris.
Oh, I was gonna say the hotel with the place that we stayed at they were kind of like huts, and we had to padlock our doors because apparently the monkeys come in and mess with your stuff. So they give you a padlock and they tell you not to leave the door open because the monkeys will just come in and ransack your room.
Really?
But we were all kind of like, we hope that happens.
Yeah, I know, right? Because that'd be a great story if you get
I don't know what they're worried about the monkeys for. Those bees that were nesting in the side of that building were much more interesting than the monkeys.
Yeah, that was scary. These bees were like, you watch some whatever documentary and they got some giant hornet that's like 3 inches long. And you're like, holy crap! So
right.
They were it was of that magnitude.
You watch that and you're like, I'll never come face to face with that again, ever. It'll be okay.
Yeah, no, they made hummingbirds look small.
Yeah, it was like,
yeah,
buzzing around sounds like a small motorcycle.
Wow, holy
huge.
shit!
So, what are the rules and laws about handling stuff over there? Is it kind of like open season? Like I know with Australia, it's one of those like, oh no, we were helping it across the road. We didn't touch it, or we weren't like touching it. Is that something you guys had to consider, or were you just like mangrove? So,
oh no, we got either Nick or someone got yelled at for using a snake hook because that young mangrove you just had up. I think Ryan went to get a hook on it, and everyone started yelling. Just using a light seemed to be an issue.
Yeah, they didn't like it when I was shining my bright flashlight. They'd never seen one so bright.
Wow.
I think they just had to envy that you had a superior flashlight.
Well, I spotted that lemur thing, that Sunda's lemur.
Oh, yeah, Colugo.
Yeah.
You guys know what a Colugo is?
No, I do not.
Google that. You're thinking that's a real animal? Like it's the weirdest. It looks like an alien. It's like a weird nocturnal lemur that glides like a flying squirrel. It's bizarre, just bizarre. There's nothing like it.
Yeah, I spotted one way up in the tree, and our guide was all happy and was excited, and then this other guide was like smacking at me, telling me to turn my flashlight off. Too bright, too bright.
Well, no, I can see it. It's clearly not too bright. It's doing what I wanted.
I'm like, no, I can see it.
I'm good.
100 feet up there.
Yeah, it is weird looking.
It's really weird. They're weird.
Oh wow.
I told you.
What the hell?
Wait a minute. Flying lemur.
I have to share this in the picture.
It doesn't look like a real animal. It looks like something somebody made up.
No.
Yeah.
Are you showing a picture of a Colugo?
Yeah, they are.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like, I don't know, part alien, part, I don't know.
Squirrel and a bat.
Yeah, it was way up the tree, too. We'd have never seen it with their little flashlights.
Thank God I brought my flashlight.
Yes.
You're welcome. Yeah.
So the moral of that story is bring an adequate flashlight, I guess. Don't skimp on lighting.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Blind
One of
the
us
animals.
needs to remember to bring a flashlight, period.
You should see Ryan's half his carry-on bag is flashlight gear and batteries and alternate. It's like the most ridiculous. Like flashlight's so powerful he could have signaled the International Space Station with it.
So Nick decides he doesn't need to bring a flashlight because he's going with me, and he figures I'll have one.
And you did, and my gambit paid off.
I was right.
Wow.
I just forgot, actually, completely forgot.
And we did learn that over there they were strict about the lithium-ion batteries.
Oh,
Really?
The weight of your carry-on. You guys had some problems with your carry-on.
Oh my God! Yeah.
What if it's like it's overweight, just like a little bit? They're like, no, you have to dump it out or whatever.
No, they'll make you check it and charge you a bunch of money.
I got you.
And but then it was a little bit ridiculous. It was very selectively enforced, it seemed.
Gotcha.
They were hassling Chris pretty hard about his bag, and I'm like, my backpack's just as heavy, and I'm like, it's on my back, and I'm just like, so I would just constantly like, you ever seen a chameleon in the wild? How they'll like keep orienting themselves so that they are parallel with the branch that they're on, so you don't see them. I was just doing that with them. So whatever way they're fucking with Chris and his backpack and weighing all this stuff, and Ryan and weighing all these bags, and I'm like, I don't want to do mine because I knew mine would be over. So I'm just kind of like always turning so that they couldn't even see my backpack. You can see the straps, but so that how big it was protruding off my back was never obvious. I'd just keep an eye on it.
Wow.
And then they charge you. They charge me like $70 to check my carry-on. And what am I going to do? Say no? You know, all my stuff is in there. That's all I traveled with was my carry-on.
Well, I was more afraid that because we were running late for that China flight to get over to Taipei. We're like, there's no way this bag's going to make it. And then the whole trip, you know, you're not going to have your stuff. That's going to suck.
Yeah. Yeah, that's always a worry, like when you're international, because you're kind of screwed at that point, right? You know?
You prepare for your trip. You bring all your stuff. You specifically do it in a carry-on size deal, so you don't have to worry about that.
Right.
And then you realize that China Air's carry-on is like a third the size of an American carry-on, and they strictly enforce it apparently selectively.
And if you go over there without your clothes, they're a lot smaller than we are. So you're trying to find clothes that would fit me. You know, it's not going to happen.
Big.
Yeah.
We don't sell giant clothes. Clothes for giants.
There were a few like mannerisms or kind of, I don't know if you'd even say expressions that seemed to be universal throughout both countries, and everybody knew. And there were times that like Chris was looking for shoes or some flip flops or something, and they're like, "Oh, big." They're just look at Chris and say big, and then you go to a totally different country in Vietnam and they're big. It's like is that just a thing? Just why say big twice?
Boom, boom, and big. Those were the things.
Oh yeah, like it became kind of a punchline by the end of it. We were just actually cracking up at the big.
Chris got a new nickname, Big.
Yeah. We get in a cab and Chris would sit up front because he's taller and it's big.
Wow. Did you have to get on any like puddle jumper type planes, like the ones that it's like
some dudes outside spinning the prop, going like any minute now, guys, we'll be good. Yeah.
To get anywhere?
No, nothing that small.
Yeah,
no.
Okay.
No. Wasn't too bad in that regard.
Oh, okay, cool. So, I guess what did you see snake wise? What
the mangrove?
Saw the mangrove.
Yeah.
What else?
We saw
GOR,
like 5 of
Monaco
those.
Cobra, and the mangroves were
Okay.
Like 5 mangroves all in the same night. They're just like they're everywhere.
Well, there was various snakes on the road in Thailand when we were getting carted around, but they would never stop and let us figure out what was going on.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
You need
That
to
night
you
around
tip them more.
too, there was the dead monocle cobra.
Right.
Yeah, but we saw a couple really big snakes on the road, not pythons, but some sort of colubrid or something, and they were like, we were trying to get them to stop, and they were just looking at us like, what in the hell is wrong with you?
No.
That anybody would go all the way to that country and intentionally want to find snakes just did not seem to compute with anybody. Like, what? Why would you do that?
Wow.
I was negotiating with our guide because he actually spoke a pretty big amount of English, and I'm like, we want to pay you to drive us around looking for snakes tonight. And he was like, I don't have a car. And so then he started going at it with the driver of the bus, and they were, speaking obviously Thai or whatever, and we were like, we didn't know what they were saying. And then after they went back and forth, and they would say snake, and the bus driver would be like, what, snake? And then finally he was like, okay, this guy will take you tonight. And we're like, okay, cool. And he showed up in a little pickup truck, and we're like, there's 3 of us. How are we supposed to go herping in a pickup truck?
Well, he showed up in the pickup truck with a friend who was he was drinking
The whole time.
Oh my God.
So you're in like a small like Toyota truck that has like a roll bar, and ultimately Ryan's in the front seat. Me and Chris are standing up in the bed, just holding on for dear life onto the roll bar while they're driving way too fast for 2 people standing up holding onto a roll bar. And the buddy is just sitting there in the back of it, just pounding beers all night long. Just never stopped drinking the whole time.
Wow.
Never said a word either. Just like the whole time.
Wow.
Just there drinking beers and observing.
We saw the turtle that night. and then the elephants and the DOR Cobra.
I will say that like one of the coolest road cruising experiences of my entire life was that night. And because we road cruised 3 elephants, that was not.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're kind of hard to road cruise. I hear.
Not expecting that at all.
I think Chris had said something to me along the lines of like, I guess because he's used to dealing with big mammals. He's like, do you guys understand that this is an elephant?
Well, what happened was, so the national animal of Thailand is an elephant. So there was elephant statues everywhere. And when we were driving down the road, we're going so fast, and I'm concentrating on like not falling out of the truck. And I hear the sound of the elephant flapping their ears when they shake their head, but I didn't think anything of it. And then at one point, I even saw what I thought it was an elephant statue, so I didn't even say anything. And then when we do come across the elephant, I turned to Nick and I was like, "Holy shit, it was real! It was real."
Do you guys see this elephant too? Oh, what?
I just heard from inside the truck. I heard Chris go, "That was real."
Oh, good.
What was it like singing a wild elephant? Was it, were you
Please tell me
nervous?
you didn't try to
Was
pet
it
it.
was it
That's
cassowary
surreal.
level, Chris, or what?
I didn't get. I stayed in the back of the truck. I kept the truck between me and the elephant. These two were just like, I'm walking up to this elephant.
Well, I figured I only had to be faster than Nick. So I thought I was in good shape.
I could see Nick just jumping up on top of the elephant, like, now we're gonna find some snakes. Let's go!
Right,
I've conquered it.
You're having herped a lot, like all of us have. You're kind of very used to your eyes are keyed in on the edges of the road, waiting for that snake to come out and all that. You're not expecting like a 2-ton mammal just standing right at the edge of the road and just not even flushed by the fact that there's cars going that we're driving by. Just did not care at all.
Right.
That kind of happened to us in the Northern Territory when we were at Fog Dam, where what was it? Keith yelled "whoa!" and everybody jumps out of their car because they thought it was a snake. It was a water buffalo. Yeah, and everybody jumps back in the car because it's a water buffalo. So yeah,
that was pretty nerve wracking.
Yeah, well,
sure,
that was
I find that, like, I don't know what you guys think about this, right? Like when you're road cruising or you're out herping, you're looking, and I always feel like I'm missing things. I'm like, they're there. I don't see it. Well, how am I not missing it? And then you'll see something and you're like, okay, well, I see that. So I know I'm not missing anything, and it kind of puts you back on track. But I feel like, the whole time, like, oh man, I'm missing it. Where's it at? Where's it at? You guys experience the same, or?
I usually get lost in the thoughts of like, I wonder if something came out 5 seconds after I went by, or just got off the road 2 seconds before I tell myself that probably to just keep myself going.
Right.
Yeah.
And you think about the statistical, me and Mutton talk about this when we're herping.
Yes.
What are the statistical anomalies like that you travel around the world or around the country somewhere, and you are driving your car in the exact moment,
right,
something breaks cover.
30 seconds, a snake might be on the road if it's actively trying to get from one side to the other. I mean, it's pretty.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of crazy.
It's really, honestly, it's surprising we find anything if you think about it.
Yeah.
Some of these faster species might cross that road in 7 seconds, like a coach whip. It's not going to linger. It's going to be gone.
Right.
To have your path and that snake's path just happen to cross at just the right moment where you actually see them is pretty remarkable.
Well, you guys have probably had this happen too, where you stop for something, and then right after you start going again, you'll see something else, and then you think, if I hadn't stopped for the last thing,
yes,
I would have already been through here before this thing came out on the road.
Yeah.
They often make fun of me because when we were in the Northern Territory, I saw this stick and it had like these black markings on it, and I was like, I'm yelling, "Blackhead!" So everybody jumps out of the car and they run, and it's just this stick. And then we turn around and there's a Strafurus sitting like right on the
Thank
branch
God
there,
we
so-
found that gecko. That saved you for hours of ridicule. Like just straight up. I was going to bring that stick to you.
If I'm
and
being
let you
honest,
keep
like everybody's like throwing snakes, reptiles up on the board. Oh, and he's got mammals. Oh, look, it's kangaroo, this wallaby, blah, blah, blah. Everybody's finding something. And I'm like, damn it, I got to find something. So I just, like, part of my brain just yelled, snake. Yeah, it turned out to not be a snake. Damn it.
I think we've all stopped for the stick snake on more than one occasion at this point.
Yeah.
Radio
Also-
lenses.
Yep. Or the leaf gecko that you think is a gecko. It's just a leaf being blown across the road.
Yeah.
It's literally just a leaf. That happens all the time.
the spider eye shine.
And you've been to Australia a bunch of times, so it's like you're well aware that 87% of all Australian snakes are Burton's legless lizards. 87% of them.
Yeah.
Most of the snakes you find are Burton's legless lizards.
Uh-huh. You were talking about turtles. Is this the turtle you were talking about? This turtle that you found? What species is that?
I think it was
Oh,
the giant Asian forest turtle.
Oh, okay.
wow.
He was big. He was about 14 inches of carapace length. It was not a small turtle.
Wow.
Is it are the feet webbed or are we like? It's kind of hard to see, but the shell kind of looks
they're
like
not
it should
heavily
be.
webbed, but they
Yeah,
are
it looks
webbed.
like it should swim, right?
Yeah.
Weird. That's cool.
Yeah.
Not something you expect to find on the road, crossing the road at night.
I
No.
think he escaped the stew pot. He had a ring through his
You think
shell.
so? Yeah, there was
Oh my god!
someone had drilled a hole in him, and there was like a little like a key ring, but very small. Like he had clearly been tethered to something at some point.
Is that the same turtle?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
see how big it is in his hands.
Wow.
But he,
Wow.
to get him off the road since he'd already, apparently made his great escape from whatever.
Yeah.
That turtle's seen some stuff. Yeah, it was.
I was out of the car so fast for that thing.
He was trucking too. Like he was not dallying crossing the road. It was like,
Really?
Well, the driver took a while to stop. So I was like,
He had to run back.
yeah, well, I thought I was worried we hit it because it was like, it just like, boom, there it was, just busts out and just hauling ass across the road. And we're like, yeah.
So are they afraid of snakes there, or did they hate snakes? Like what's their
I think they have a healthy respect, but I don't think they care to find them typically.
gotcha?
I think
Yeah.
you just, if you have grown up and live in a place where there's an abundance of snakes, it's not, anything interesting really. It's probably, it's like, be like, I don't get excited when I see a deer,
Yeah.
It's like they're
Or also the squirrel. Yeah.
yeah, or a squirrel.
Yeah.
It's like just
Yeah.
a thing that's always around.
It's probably food over there too.
I would
Yeah,
imagine, yeah.
Well, also,
I guess-
how many venomous over there? I know cobra, but there's still probably a couple that maybe they're wary about.
there's
that
a
kind of
ton.
Yeah.
there's-
I think it seems like most of the stuff over there is venomous.
stuff. Yeah,
Yeah, there's ample venomous snakes. But I guess the squirrel's a good analogy because they could not understand why we would come all the way around and want to pay them what amounts to a bunch of money in local currency to go look for snakes. But I guess if they showed up here in Washington State and wanted to pay me a bunch of dollars to go drive around and look for squirrels, I think they were crazy too.
get in the car.
Hey,
Let's
look,
go.
there's some
Yeah.
squirrels? What? What? It just
Well,
wouldn't even compute.
what about the park ranger down in Phuket who came out of her night off?
Oh
to
yeah.
take
Yeah.
us
In
around.
a car that could not support, three
Yeah,
large
three of us
Americans.
got in the car and it was.
Oh God.
Yes,
Big.
That's where a lot of those frog pictures that I sent you. We saw
Were there?
quite a few frogs on that hike through the park.
Oh, okay. Let's
Okay.
see. Yeah, there were some.
She didn't seem to understand road cruising either, because
Right.
we just pulled off on the side of the road and started walking through the jungle.
well, that car wasn't equipped to handle us. So.
Probably
I
better
think
than
that night we would have
Oh.
found some stuff on the road if we could have driven.
It was a good night for that, I think, but because that was on Phuket Island, which is further south, and the Cat Ba Island in Vietnam is like off the coast of North Vietnam. And
Okay.
Phuket's down in southern Thailand. So it was considerably warmer down there.
No, I think we would have cruised some stuff that night if we could have been on the roads.
Yeah, it was not.
Not something that they're set up for, or.
No. Yeah, you need like an international driver's license for most Southeast Asian countries to rent a car. So it's just this extra hurdle that we didn't realize there was until.
Yeah, that was a last minute.
Well, they don't even have. I don't even think renting a car would have been that. I asked the one guy, and he's like, "Nobody has a car here. Like, what do you? What do you think you're going to get a car?
What the hell is wrong with you?"
Most people ride around on scooters.
Yeah,
scooters. Yeah.
Yeah, we could have got scooters all day. That would have been
a good herping kind of thing. Is a little team of scooters all going down the street. Yeah.
Well, not herp related, but one of the first days we were driving to our hotel, and there was a scooter with almost like a sidecar that was just, I guess, built for supplies or whatever. And there's a toddler. Right, a toddler in a diaper with a baseball hat, standing up in there like it was just normal.
He's holding on to the front of the bars like this, and he has like And he reminded. Did you ever see?
T-shirt was like, "I love New York."
It's like this was the most unsafe thing I've ever seen. But again, just the look at his face, it reminded me. Did you ever see The Road Warrior?
Yes.
And there's the kid with the boomerang and the crazy hair. It's like that kid. Like if that kid was like, 2 and standing up and it's like, this thing, like it's like
it was literally a motorcycle with like 3 bamboo sticks holding up a milk crate with a bike tire on it, and the kid was in that holding on, standing up,
at full
going
speed.
like 50 miles per hour down the highway.
Oh, that's great.
That's not okay.
You would see like in rural areas, since everybody says scooters, but they got to go to the store or they got to go pick their kids up from school or whatever it is, and you would see like a family of 5 on a scooter
with their dog.
Can't get the dog.
Like 2 adults and 3 children of various ages, like are all just like piled on this thing, like a
everybody hold tight. Yeah.
Yeah,
Hanoi
the traffic wasn't exactly orderly.
I don't know how nobody got killed.
Wow.
Oh, the Hanoi driving experience was not to be missed.
And then you would just see random people. There was the guy just taking a shit on the side of the road.
This didn't happen out in the country somewhere on some rural road, like right in the heart of the capital of the country, in a massive, like in rush hour traffic. There's tens of thousands of people everywhere. Just drops trowel and just taking a dump right at the edge of the road.
Wow.
It's like,
got to go when you got to go, I guess.
Yes, no.
Well, unfortunately, I think that's getting pretty common in some of our cities.
Yeah.
It's pretty common here in New York.
Philadelphia isn't.
Philadelphia is already on fire right now. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's on fire now. Imagine with no water, it's gonna.
Well, yeah, we're seeing a little snapshot of that at the moment. Yeah,
it's gonna be real Lord of the Flies.
He who has the water controls Philadelphia. Yeah, okay, it's how it's gonna go.
I was about to make a break to the roof, man, and just like put camp up there and manage to store from the roof.
Man. But. So do people, like, when they run out of water, do they start buying like other beverages like soda and other
Gatorade,
things that are liquid?
Yeah, it's weird how I was telling Owen, you would think like they're just going to buy. I had people come in, right, and like Dasani is in local, and everybody hates that water, Dasani water in Philadelphia, and that's all we had. And they're just like, nah. I'm like,
I don't need to drink that bad.
I'm just like, what difference does it make if you're dead?
I don't like that. I want the water I like, not just any water.
I only like Poland Spring. It's I can't do that.
Can anybody actually tell the difference?
No,
there's
no difference.
It's water.
Yeah,
water. They're all bottled under the same spigot, anyways.
Yeah,
this is how you know
the hose.
This is how you know Americans are entitled and spoiled. They're arguing about what type of water. Like,
yes.
It's like, yeah. I don't
It's
know.
like-
This water's not watery enough, or I don't know. What are your
I don't like the
criteria
taste
for
of this
gauging
water.
Yeah. I don't feel hydrated enough when I drink this water. Like, come on, man.
It's like you imagine their house just got bombed out by a tornado, and here comes the Red Cross. Here, have a case of water. Do you have any other types? I don't like this kind. Wait.
Right.
It's like,
Oh my gosh. You do see the worst of people in those situations, snow's coming or, any kind of emergency. It's
Eric will tell me
Terrible.
what he's doing, and I'm like, your work makes me sad. Like, I don't know.
Sad commentary on their sensory at this point.
yeah.
I'm not envious of you working with the public. Like I'm.
Humans.
This is why I had to stop selling snakes, man. I can't just give him the Owen and let him do it because I deal with enough of that shit at work. I
I
don't
could totally get on board with that. It's just sending them all to Owen.
Listen, my rage only goes so far. Like you will lose some sales because I will call people idiots. So it's if you're okay with that, yeah.
I'm okay with that.
All right.
as long as you sell some, though.
Yeah, as long as some of them go. Yeah.
I just want to make them. I hate selling them.
Yeah, I do
Me
too,
too.
Ryan. I'm right there with you. Yeah, I think that's what it is. It's just dealing with the public all the time and their complaints and their entitleism and all this kind of stuff. And it just drives me nuts. And then I'm just afraid that if I deal with the wrong person, I'm going to.
Be
I'm gonna
murdered.
voice my rage on people I can voice my rage on,
I'm just getting to be more and more of a curmudgeonly old man at this point. Like
Me too.
I'm just kind of over it in that sense that like I like talking herps. I'll talk to you all day long. Hell, you can't get me to hang up the phone. Really,
Yeah.
like I'll talk to anybody. Like you can call me anytime. But some of the mindless conversations of people who don't listen, and it's just. It really grinds you down at some point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I find that when I did start traveling outside of the US, it gave me a whole different perspective on, just the world and what we think of our little snapshot of reality here in the US. And, I guess to your point, what you guys were saying earlier, like if you don't you're not going to complain about what part of the animal you're eating if you're starving to death. You're just going to eat whatever you can eat, but no, I don't want that. Oh my God. But
yeah, like we went to a market, and not like a tourist market, like a market where the locals shop in Vietnam, and there's like all manner of like, would you like a goat head? Here's the goat head section of just goat heads or whatever. There's just that kind of stuff. Just
right.
an unrefrigerated pile of animal heads, basically. And you were taking these heads home and
I think their work ethic
sheep's
was
head or
something
whatever.
That, that blew me away. You don't see little
How so?
kids working. You don't see
Cleaning
their
motorcycles.
family businesses were the whole family. And I saw a kid that was in diapers, couldn't have been 3 years old, sweeping the floor. So everybody was contributing.
Oh my God, I can't get my teenage sons to lift the toilet seat, much less sweep the floor of a business. Are you kidding me? Like,
Wow. Floors. My God.
I think we've had it too good for too long in this country, probably, and we're getting really soft. Like the things that when you travel outside, especially in the developing world, you see the world for what it is, and then you see how just unreal our own lifestyle is here, and the petty, ridiculous things that people get all outraged and offended and just like up in arms over here. It's like they have no idea what the world is really like for everybody else.
Yeah.
The things that are like such big issues, like really, like see, like
Yeah, you get to complain about those things when you don't have nothing else to do.
Yeah, the things we complain about and take for granted, and like complaining about it. It's crazy.
It is.
They have no idea what the rest of the world is like. So I think herping is great, but getting out and seeing the world, it really broadens your perspective and on things and the way you view yourself, what you've got going on, your own country, the world. It changes your perspective when you get outside of that.
Did you guys look at any, like, so what I've been trying to do when I'm going on these herp trips is like, I try to sort of learn a little bit about the area to sort of like look at some of the historic things, you know, because if you're only getting this one shot to go and look at, you know, this part of the world, you want to try to take it all in as much as you can, you know? So was there anything like that for you guys on this trip?
I don't think we did it. We went to the American Red Cross Snake Museum.
Oh, cool. Okay.
That's where they just teach the locals about
don't touch
snakes
this one
in the area.
Yeah.
But we didn't really do any. I don't think we did any historical stuff. Right?
I just mean in terms of like, you know, like there's like a certain mountain or, you know, a certain park or something like that. You know, it doesn't necessarily have to.
We went to see the magnetic termite mounds in Northern Territory because
we were pretty ambitious in what all we went to a lot of places, took a lot of flights. We weren't really anywhere for that long.
Oh, I got you.
Cool.
Okay.
We were moving a lot.
Right.
We went to Lapini Park in Bangkok, which was full of those monitors.
Yeah, I was going to ask about that. So that's
I'm not sure how big, you know, what that park is to them. Like if it's like a Central Park here in New York.
Right.
Oh, wow.
So those were just out chilling on the.
The park itself is basically the Thai equivalent of Central Park for Bangkok, and there's a lot of artificial water features, and you know it's kind of an artificial lake and this canal thing that feeds it, and there is a big population of very large water monitors.
Jeez,
that are, I mean, big
water monitors. Yeah,
there was a huge one out on a log like that, and Nick and Ryan walked out to get hands on them. I didn't send you the picture. Part of me was hoping they would both end up in the water.
It was ill-advised for sure, but it's like I gotta touch it. I gotta touch that monitor. It's like,
yeah, you guys thought I was nuts when I said I got to get my hands on that thing. And then Mutton was like, if you're gonna do it, I guess I got to do it.
Right? Like
that reminds
peer
me
pressure so quickly. Yeah,
that reminds me of your Fog Dam story, Nick, where you're like, you know, running down to get the water python, just forgetting about the crocs, just like
yeah. That could have gone really bad.
Yeah.
Especially you turn around, you just eyes shine out behind you. It's like just nothing but crocodile eyes.
You're like, whoop. Yeah.
Oh, right.
Cool.
Yeah.
And that moment of just like, what is everybody jumping up and down about screaming about? It didn't quite click, and they're like all just like, God! And I'm like, my back's totally. I'm standing on my heels in the water and turn around facing the other way.
Right.
Absolutely. I'd have been that idiot you read about.
So were these monitors, were they
friendly?
chill? Were they yeah.
Oh
no.
Okay. Stay friendly.
They let you get close and then they'd whip you.
Yeah.
Oh really? Yeah.
So it's really more like high five in a water monitor. You just kind of put your hand out and it like smack your tail like high five, and then smack your hand.
I touched it. It hurts, but I touched it. Yeah.
They do approach you though, because there was a point we were crossing a bridge, and one must have saw us crossing the bridge, and it immediately swam towards us. People probably throw food off.
Of course,
right?
Yeah. So they associate you with food, so they'll come to you.
There was another one, a little smaller. One? Yeah, it was blind. And it was decent size, and it was blind in one eye, was completely blind on one side, and it was just kind of hang out right at the edge.
Yeah, I was petting its head.
We literally pet that one, like just. You start thinking, like, what if I could take this leaf and just sit it on top of this monitor's head if it was
there's
there
that
for that?
Picture there with the
wait,
leaf.
You're saying that as I stumble across this.
Yes.
Jesus.
Something wearing like a hat.
Yeah, it just was willing to sit there and put up with the indignity of it, but
it's hard to believe that that's like a staple herp pet in our.
The fact that it's a staple is bad enough. It's
it's a big. They're big, like
they're big lizards. Yeah,
they're 7+ footers out there, lots of them, and there were bigger ones still that you were a little more standoffish further away. But even the ones that we were pretty close to were intimidatingly large lizards.
Yeah,
I got a 50-gallon long. It's fine.
Yeah, right. Like,
yeah, 50-gallon long.
50-gallon long and and a clamp lamp I got at the.
Yeah, just make sure. How do you adequately house something like that in a captive sense? You
in
need
your
a
room.
house.
Yeah.
You need to devote a room love to it.
Yeah,
Jesus.
It's an impressive animal, though. Yeah.
Yeah,
For sure.
Yeah, and that's why we don't keep water monitors.
That's right.
And that, kids, is why we don't keep water monitors.
It's like a big retic. It's like the lizard equivalent of the big retic. It's pretty hard to really do it justice. So
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Oh, yeah.
Just
and then me and Ryan are walking out on that log quite a ways out, and it's all sketchy. And like, this is, you got all your camera gear with you, so if you go on the drink, it's going to be bad.
It's over. Yeah.
The camera and everything. It's like, I'm going to kick myself if I don't do it.
What's the you sent me some pictures of some cobras. Was that on the street?
That was
or
at
is
the American Red Cross Snake Museum.
Oh, okay.
They were doing a demonstration with the cobras.
Don't do this with a cobra.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, pretty much.
Everything we're doing right now, don't do it. It looks awesome, but don't do it. Oh, shit. All right.
They're monocle cobras?
Yeah.
Yeah. My dad had those. What a nut.
Yeah.
I think those were specs, weren't
I
they?
would say, I think they're
Were they?
specs.
Yeah, I think those were the two ringers.
There was
Oh,
another
okay.
picture with one with, I thought it had the monocle on the back. Maybe I'm.
It doesn't help that we're looking at their
I
faces.
think they had both. Somebody got bit, right, during the show?
Yes.
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 Okay.
I don't know what it wasn't like a cobra, but like he's also he's clutching his hand and there's like some blood and then he kind of like,
I thought it was a cobra he got.
was it a
That's
cobra?
odd.
I know somebody got tagged.
Things get a little intense when people are bleeding at the venomous snake show.
It's not confidence inspiring, no.
No.
Not at all. So, what was the favorite herp of the trip? What was your favorite find?
For me, and I saw two of them, but they're really, really fast, so I didn't get a picture. Were the Draco lizards
Yes.
flying? Yeah, I saw two of them. One little one while we're eating breakfast one morning, and there's a tree right outside of this like second story thing we're eating on this little outdoor veranda, and they're scurrying up a tree, and there's a pretty large one, bigger than I thought they got. Thing must have been 14 inches long. I mean, mostly tail, but a pretty sizable one on a night hike.
I sent you a picture of one. The one I sent you the picture of might have been the one we saw at the eco resort where we were sitting there eating, and it was out on the tree.
Yeah.
Is that the one? It's this one, right?
You just want to take it and just kind of like throw it
Oh
off the
no,
roof and
no,
throw
it's
it down.
flat on the tree.
Flat on the tree.
Yeah, I probably like the turtle the best.
Cool.
Turtle.
Figures you'd say that being a turtle guy.
Yeah, I like
I
that.
mean,
Ryan's
mangrove
transitioning.
thing.
He's been there and done that and bred all the pythons. Now he's
So he's
moving
slowly moving over to
on.
turtles.
Slowly like becoming a turtle
We're
guy.
losing Ryan to turtles. Is
I
what
don't know
you're
if I'm
telling me?
I think
I
I always was. I was just better.
Losing Ryan is one thing, but to turtles?
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 Like, I will not stand for this. It's like, at least tell me they're cool turtles, like Fly Rivers and Snake Necks. If it's Red Eared Sliders, you're dead to me. Like I don't.
Sliders. I got some good stuff.
All right, we'll see.
Oh,
Still
wait,
not
that's-
happy about this.
I still got plenty of pythons. So
All
don't worry. I still got a lot more to do, so I haven't given up yet.
I think we're in the single digits with pythons, but it's still stuff there. Yeah.
Taxonomy keeps
I
kicking
got to
them.
set the goal. I got 15 more to do. So
15, that's it?
Like
Holy
he's
shit.
got the number.
Yeah, only 15.
I don't know. He's running away with it now. I don't know.
It's just running up.
I got to
the
get to
score.
50. That's the
He's
new
just
goal,
running the
50.
score up. Running the score up on
It's
me.
like 14 to 50. It can come back anytime. It's like any minute now. They can turn the game around.
I know, right? I'm a
Got
game
to set the goal at 50. I didn't know what to do. I met the previous goal, and I was kind of like a ship without a rudder. So
Is it that one?
No,
Yeah.
It's not flat on a
flat
tree.
on
That's
the-
a leaf.
I don't.
flat on the
It's an in a,
trunk of the tree.
flat. Oh, it's like in the trunk, kind of. I thought that was a gecko. I don't see it.
Maybe I didn't send it.
Okay.
He's
Oh,
looking
I'm
over.
looking
Oh
for
yeah,
some-
maybe I didn't do that.
No. Am I able to post a picture on here?
I don't know.
Yeah, you should be able to.
Let's see if this breaks everything.
You should just say
Don't
share.
just pull any picture out of your reel.
Yeah, be very double check.
No fat fingers.
Wom, 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 wom.
All of a sudden, post something from Phuket town or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't need no ladyboy pics or ping
Yeah.
pong show pics or nothing
Big,
like
big
that.
Cell phones. We had to turn our cell phones off in Phuket town. We weren't allowed to have them on in the.
That's good because I was doing some bird watching.
Yeah, so there was no. There were no pictures there.
Okay.
For very
Probably
good
for the
reason.
best.
Love bird the same again.
For very good reason.
Probably for the best.
Mm.
Yeah, I don't know. Unless it's not. I'm gonna.
It's a lizard on a tree.
Listen, you.
We know what a
You're
tree
not
is, right?
operating anything.
I mean, I'm
all
like,
right?
where are we going here?
Don't start with your I'm superior than you type of thing. How can you be doing this
I
type of
rarely
deal?
ever have a
You
tone.
never touch controls. This one?
No.
That's a
No,
gecko.
that's a gecko.
I know, that's it. I don't have anything else.
It's there. It's
Oh,
there. I know it's
You
there.
know what it.
It looks like a gecko on a tree more than it would look like a linogomet.
Listen,
Oh,
that's the
man.
only lizard that was left, and I'm like, well, maybe I'm misjudging something here.
Did he send you
So-
one that just looks like a tree?
No, no.
At this point, start looking at trees. I don't.
Now I'm looking
Okay.
for it.
I didn't take any pictures of it, so I don't have any.
That's the
Okay.
coolest lizard of the whole trip. What do you mean? I'm seeing the one. Where is the? where
It's like
is
I don't bring a camera when we go on herp trips. I just steal all of Rob Stone's pictures. I was there. It counts. Give me.
I got
I
pictures of
think
rocks,
it counts.
pictures of rocks, pictures of an elephant, frog,
We didn't see the
gecko,
I think I
lizard,
found it.
mangrove.
Because the pictures I
Lizard,
got, it just looks like a picture of a tree trunk, and then there it is.
Oh.
This is going to be the most underwhelming thing for anybody watching this because all this debate and everything. It's like we spent
It's like that
much
little
time,
thing there that kind of still looks like the tree, but isn't. It's that.
It's probably
but it's going to be about this one. Oh, that's just a picture of a tree,
No, but if you look really close,
right? That's it. All right, so I'm going to go
So-
like this.
somebody showed me that they found spotted turtles this past weekend in New Jersey. And he's like, if you zoom in really close, and then of course, like it's all pixelated as you get closer. He's like, right there, that clump of weird color, that's a spotted turtle. I'm like, okay, sure,
You better go look for spotted turtles when I come out there.
we can do that.
All right.
Spotted turtle, bog turtle. I'm working on Copperhead site that's supposed to be 2 blocks from my house.
The hell with them snakes, man. Let's go. Get
Oh
some
yeah, no, we're
turtles.
done with them. No, all right. So. If it doesn't have a shell, I don't care. All right. So
okay.
I sent you a picture of the lizard in question.
you
That-
put a
that
circle
is-
around the lizard. Or?
That was not
I know,
in
right?
the, in the care package that I received.
I just sent it to you in the group chat. But,
Okay.
Now he has to like
man.
shift it to a different thing so that he can put it on here. And at these moments, he tells me that I'm supposed to talk so that people aren't
Yes.
watching him or it's not
There we go.
dead silent.
there
Oh,
victory.
yeah. Very, yeah.
It's like
You can
that
see
spotted
that.
turtle. It's all pixelated.
Yeah. It is underwhelming.
Well, because I'm a crappy photographer. That's probably why. Bad lighting, no photography skills, and it was 10 feet up a tree. But
Rob would have had to stand at that tree with flashlights for an hour.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Good hour, eating so many bugs.
Mm-hmm. All right.
We were kind of being hustled through there by the different groups.
Were
Yeah,
there,
that
like,
was a
were they-
tour. We weren't on our own, so
Okay.
you had to
Can't
keep
just-
moving.
you can't just go in the Kawasaki National Park on your own at night. They don't really.
They don't allow that? Okay.
Well, you're not supposed to do that, I guess. You can do it, but you're not officially supposed to do that. I don't think so.
Well, we
It's like-
should have gone into the park in Cat Ball after dark, and we could have found the gecko.
Yeah, we were looking for a specific gecko, but it's quite elusive.
Not the one that was inside the tunnel thing that Eric threw up there?
No.
A cave gecko.
Yeah,
Okay.
we were looking for a cave gecko, but
Great big. There's an big old endemic cave gecko that only lives on that island.
Mm.
Very cool.
well, you'd had to go in the park at night probably to have the best shot at finding it.
The way we did that is we accidentally got lost going to our car. At
Yeah, well,
the
you
national
guys
parks.
weren't with these two wussies.
What?
They were afraid of going to
about me.
prison in Vietnam.
Yeah, there is. We almost had a fatality.
Like, and I'm like, am I the only one smart enough to think this is a bad idea? And these two are like getting mad at me. Like, how dare I tell them that this is a bad idea?
Right.
I'm like, okay, fuck it. I'm not going to be the puss.
When you
And,
go on a
yeah,
hike,
it went from bad to worse real quick.
your expectation is that there's like you're hiking on like a trail, and this trail is well defined, and you might go uphill, you might go downhill, but you're on this trail. And
Right.
It started off like that.
The first couple of miles, there was definitely a trail. It was uphill the whole way, but it was a trail, and then it just devolved into like just climbing up loose razor sharp boulders, and then every like 100 yards it'd be like a crude spray painted arrow, maybe not.
It was
And-
very well marked. Don't
It
get
was like
twisted.
literally
It was
like-
very well marked.
There was no semblance of anything even remotely resembling a trail. I was like, that's just a loose pile of razor sharp eroded boulders. You just scampered up.
very obvious to me.
It was wow. It was something that would not have been legal in the United States. Probably. Like, I don't think.
No, it would have
would've
been
been
legal.
able to
They
do
would have just
that.
had chains,
Yeah,
handrails and shit. But
little signs.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a thing. Yeah, I'm looking through and see if I got it. It's just you got to be kidding me. And then
Towards the end of it, our guide started taking video of me. And
to be honest, I
I'm
wish
pretty
I
sure
had
it was
taken
to show
more
his
videos.
friends.
What was that, Chris?
I'm pretty sure it was to show his friends to be like,
Look at this
guy-
big do this.
big.
And Nick said to me at one point, I mean, I was done because I hurt my back. My back was bothering me even before it started, so I should have
Right.
not done it, but I didn't want to back out. And Nick said something along the lines of, "You have two options. You either finish it or you're going to die out here." And he was right.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no
shit.
helicopter coming to get you in closed canopy rainforest in Vietnam on top of a mountain. There's no way to get you out. You have to walk. If you break your leg, you're walking on your broken leg. That's the only way to die. That is the only thing.
At one point, we ran into people, and I took 2 random pills from them.
Jesus.
To make the pain go away.
Wait a minute.
They were European tourists, I think.
People just emerged from the jungle and gave you drugs, and you were okay with this?
I
At
didn't
that
care.
point, yes.
I think he would have done anything for drugs.
Oh my God.
What the hell?
How long was the hike? How long was the hike?
A
It was
lot
supposed
longer
to
than
be
it should
4
have been.
hours, and it was about 10 hours.
About 10
Holy
hours.
shit.
Yeah, no, it did not go according to plan.
Okay. All right. Well, yeah, that happens.
Mistakes were made. Yeah.
Lessons were learned that day.
Wow.
And
All right.
there were
Lessons
2.
were
There was a
learned.
family with us who, once it started getting bad, they just disappeared. And I'm pretty sure it's because they spoke the local language. And the guide was able to tell them this might be a problem for the kid you have with you.
Right.
He didn't speak English and I didn't speak his language. So there was no one telling me it was going to be a problem.
Well, I just thought you should have looked around and been like, oh, yeah, it's straight up and down everywhere.
Yeah.
I remember getting to some points where Ryan would be up ahead of us and I would look up this cliff face and I would say, "Oh, does it get easier?" And Ryan would look down and go,
No.
Oh man.
Demoralizing.
That reminds me when we were in Joshua Tree National Park We went on a hike that was, I think it was, I want to say it was maybe 10 miles. And it took pretty much the whole day. No cover, no nothing. It's just the desert. You're just walking through. Okay, not a problem. But by the end, coming back, Justin and Rob decide to run up onto the dunes and look at it from a different angle. So they give me the keys to the car. So I'm walking. And as I get to the entrance to the park, there was an old lady there, right? And she's like, she sees me, and I must have been like all disheveled, and I'm sweating, and my hat's like all twisted, and my hair is messed up. It's just great. And she's like, "Are you okay?" And I'm like, "Oh my God, the old lady's telling me and asking me if I'm okay."
You've been lost in the desert for days.
And then I walk over and I can't find the car, and I can't remember if Justin has a white car and I'm like hitting the thing and nothing's unlocking. And I'm like, "Oh my God, I just want to sit down. This is terrible." So I feel your pain, Chris. I feel your pain.
We got lucky weather-wise. It was closed canopy, no sun, and about 68 to 70 degrees.
Oh, sweet.
If it would have been 100 degrees, and
he would have died.
Chris would have died.
When we finally met up with the rest of the group at the end, I just flat out said it. I was like, "Be honest. Did you guys expect to even see me here?" I didn't care at that point. Like, they could say what they were going to say about me, and they were all saying, like, "Yeah, we kind of talked about it."
Chris is like C-3PO in Return of the Jedi when the Ewoks are all partying around, like, "Yeah, he's made it."
Nick was like the greatest motivational speaker I'd ever seen in my whole life.
Yeah, because it's like you have two options: death or get moving. It's like, damn.
Well, yeah, life, it's rare in life that you have such a moment of complete clarity. It's like, this is the only, there are no other options. Like, it is this or this, and it's a binary sort of die or keep walking.
Nick is that voice in the back of your head, He's like telling you, like, "Listen, you bitch."
I really thought we were going to end up spending the night out there, which I was kind of looking forward to because I could look for the gecko.
Right?
No. We can
Ryan's
rest. We can take our time.
At a certain point, I was hoping he was going to slow down even more so we could stay out on those rocks at night.
We finally make it into, there's like a little fishing. You basically transected the entire island, and you get to go over the mountains in the middle, and then down to the other side, there's a little fishing village where there was, food waiting for everybody. But that was like 5 hours before we got there, so we didn't bring food with us. So he did call ahead, and so when we finally limped into town in the evening, it's like they brought out just huge amounts of food. It was like the greatest thing you ever ate in your entire life.
Oh yeah, for sure.
You're so hungry.
Wow.
And then we rewarded ourselves the next day with Vietnamese massages.
Was that a reward or was that a type of torture? I'm still not sure.
Either one.
It seemed like you guys were getting. Nick got the old lady who was, probably the meanest one of the group.
Were they asking you questions while they were massaging? Because then it was torture. Yeah.
Well, I've never been touched by such a small woman and hurt so bad. They had like the Gorilla Grip 5000, man.
Oh wow.
Crazy.
Was it like deep tissue massage or something? Or
my neck still isn't right. I don't know what they were doing.
They bring out these giant tubs and tell you to put your feet in it, but they don't tell you the water is like scalding hot. So you really? Dive right in and burn your feet, and they're like, strip down to your underwear. And they get you on the bed and, they're slapping one woman was slapping my feet, and it was because I thought that was part of the massage, but I was just too tall, and she's trying to get me to move. And then I hear Nick laughing, and it's because she's walking on this little woman is just walking up and down my back.
I just remember Nick screaming like a bitch. One of those women must have grabbed him, and he's all,
It was somewhere between deep tissue massage and just a beat down. Like just.
I look over and there's ladies hanging from the ceiling walking on those two, and then I realize that's what's happening to me right now.
Oh yeah, like you just have to experience it. You gotta do it though. That's the fun part of traveling. You have to do the things in the.
Yes, 100%.
Having traveled around the world pretty extensively now in my old age, the things that are the most memorable and the funniest stories later are the things that didn't go well.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, we went to the place and saw the thing and it went great. That's not much of a story. It's when everything goes completely off the fucking rails.
Yeah.
Like the hikers, it's like that becomes hysterical. That's what you're talking about years later. That's how we almost killed Chris.
Yeah.
It's so funny.
Because he's still alive.
Yeah.
God.
Oh yeah, it's just that. Those are the funniest stories. It's the funnest stuff is when it all goes completely sideways, and it will at some point. You can't go on a big international trip without it completely going off the rails at some point.
You have to recognize the sideways and then deal. Like Eric with his phone in Darwin.
Yeah.
Australia's not because you have a language barrier. You have that advantage when you're in like South Asia and you have a language barrier. You never ever feel completely like you know what's going on. You're always like, some part of you is always like, are we in the right place? Are we going the right way? Is this where we're supposed to be? You never really know. You just kind of trust that they'll get you where you need to go. And it works out usually. But
at one point, Nick and I didn't even have our visas to enter Vietnam. And it was getting real close to
That
going
was
to
me
Vietnam.
and you. Nick had his.
Oh, Nick had his. It was me and
I
you.
was the one that didn't get it till like the day before we were supposed to go.
The hotel had to print them out for us. And then even at that hotel, our American credit cards kept getting declined.
Oh, God.
So because of the language barrier, like we didn't even know if we were going to be able to pay.
Oh, wow.
Just, like we were really running into a problem at that point because it just kept declining our cards, and then you'd have the security alerts on your, from your bank.
Somebody trying to use your card, and
Somebody in Thailand's
trying to use your card.
That's gotten me a few times over the years where like you don't use a card for a year, and then all of a sudden there's thousands of dollars in Cairo being charged on your card, and the card just freezes up, and then you're.
You can't blame it. Yeah, they kind of wanted to do that, but
I try to take enough in just actual currency on hand so I don't have to deal with cards, but inevitably it always comes up. And then my dumbass didn't bring a credit card. I only brought my debit card, which doesn't really work so much. It doesn't really work outside the country. A credit card will usually, but debit card not so much.
So they're not taking Apple Pay for like the noodles or something?
No.
Can I PayPal you, small person who's making my noodles? Yeah.
Well, the noodles are only like 40 cents. That's cheap. Food is always cheap and easy. It was more like your
hotel.
Transfer to get from Hanoi out to the Cat Ba Island, which was not close to Hanoi. Like it was probably 4 or 5 hours of traveling.
Oh, really?
Jesus.
Yeah, you're in a cab, then you're in a bus, then you're on a boat, then you're on another bus, then you're walking 2 miles, apparently.
Every form of transportation you can do is in this one trip.
Planes, trains, and automobiles, You
stop at like Vietnamese truck stops or their equivalent, and you're just eating like, I wonder what's in this sticky bun. I have no idea. It's like it's like sticky bun roulette. You don't know what it is. It's like it's soft and pillowy and it looks good. Is it going to be meat? Is it going to be beans? Is it going to be something sweet? Don't know till you bite into it because you can't read the language. And sometimes you strike out. Like one time it was like some kind of weird fishy fish paste thing. It was like, that's horrible.
No,
that's not good.
It's not a good thing.
Memorize this package and never get it what it looks like again.
But but they all look the same. Like it's just, you're just kind of.
Yeah. Hope for the best.
You do, but everything's cheap. So it's like, I'm not worried about it.
Yeah.
I found ourselves like you're instinctively, you always want to haggle for pricing to get the best deal you can on things. And everything's a little bit negotiable in the developing world when you're, out on the street or whatever. And they realize, why are we arguing over the price? Everything's so cheap. Like, you guys are haggling over like a nickel or something. Like, what are we doing?
Pay the damn nickel.
Why are we doing this? Like,
we would haggle over a cab fare, and then you did the math and realized that it was $3.
Well, Mutton tells me like, "Oh yeah, you never pay full price," and then he sicked me on him, and I'm sitting here going, I'm like arguing, like, These two made me do all the negotiating for travel or for the
Ryan's a hard ass too. It's funny. He's.
Then I felt like a total dick because I was like, I just broke this guy down, and it's literally like $1.50.
It's the equivalent of the money that's probably in my couch right now.
Oh yeah,
We got ripped off a few times too, though. There was the one where in Thailand there were 2 hotels with the same name, and I think he knew which one we had to go to, but he took us to the wrong one, so that he could
we had to pay
basically
a double
triple
fare.
our fare.
Okay.
Because the original one was really right near the hotel. And then the other time was in Vietnam. We got into the airport late, and then your bags weren't coming off the plane, and they didn't come off the plane till like almost midnight. We just wanted to get to our hotel, and some random guy comes up to us and is like, "You need a cab?" And his car was not at the airport. Like, his car was parked outside the airport because they probably know they don't want him around because he's a scam artist.
It seemed super sketchy. Like, you're really like, are we gonna wake up in a bathtub with no kidneys? This seems like how you get your kidney stolen right here. Getting this car that's clearly not a legit cab, and it just seemed.
We had to leave the airport to get to my car. Well, that's a lot of red flags.
And
right
he
there.
charged us in American money because he knew he charged us $10 American, so he made a decent amount off of us.
And our hotel was literally walkable distance from the airport. We was like, should we just walk? Like,
you walk past your hotel to get to his car. It's like, wait.
You know what it's like by midnight after traveling internationally. Your brain is in that sort of travel brain fog. You know, you're kind of you're not in a good place to make big decisions.
Well, we had just done Batong Beach the night before, so it was
Batong Beach.
We were a little corrupted at that point.
I would say, without going into too much details, like, people have certain expectations. There are certain things that people have heard about places like Thailand, and I just will say that it's all true. Every word of it is true, and it all is at Patong Beach in Phuket. That's all. It's like any crazy thing you ever heard. Yeah, it probably happened. Like, that's the thing.
Okay.
It's wow. Like, but you would be remiss if you went and didn't go experience that and just like, wow, I did that now. That's something.
Check it.
That's something to see. Yeah, I've been there twice, so I kind of had some idea what to expect. But it's even was crazier this most recent time.
Okay.
I was there like, I don't know, 15, 16 years ago, right before the tsunami wiped all that off the map.
Right.
And that tsunami destroyed all of Patong Beach, just destroyed it. Killed like 6,000 people. It's crazy. So all that got destroyed, and they just rebuilt it all, but way more. Like, as crazy as it was, like, how about we just amplify that times 10 and just make it, it's like, imagine if like Mardi Gras was like a thing that just went all year long and there was no laws at all and everything was legal and it was just crazy.
Wow.
That's basically what it is.
I described it as Mardi Gras.
There. Chris was like, he was in his natural habitat.
Chris was like very reserved, like almost didn't want to go. It was like, it kind of almost had to drag him. And then as soon as we got there, it was like me with eating. It was like, woohoo! Just went completely bananas. Just went out of his mind. Just like, embraced it. Carpe diem.
I described it as Mardi Gras meets like 1980s New York City Times Square.
Okay.
Absolutely bonkers.
Wow. It's like,
I don't know what it was, but I'll never think of it the same way.
Something you have to experience to really get the feel.
It's not for everyone, that's for sure. But the crazy thing is there were like families there with children walking around. Like, what is going on? Why are you here? Like,
wow.
Like,
they're sweeping the floor.
Oh man, I wanted to see a particular thing, and they were starting to wonder if it even existed. And then the second we got there, it was like, oh look, there's a sign for the thing.
It's
Guess the rumors are true.
The rumors are true. All right.
all of the rumors are true.
Wow.
All of them.
Far exceeded the expectations.
Wow. That's crazy. So you spent one night there?
We're 2 nights in Phuket, right?
Okay.
Yeah, but not only in Patong Beach the one
We
night.
spent one night in one side of the island and the other night.
They tried not to go, but I wasn't having it.
And then we got to ride in the tuk-tuk that was set up like a disco inside.
Oh, yeah. It was the disco. For those who don't know what a tuk-tuk is, it's kind of a South Asian thing. You see a lot of in Thailand. They're used as kind of informal taxis. It's basically like a 2-stroke scooter that they made a wagon sort of back in with 2 wheels, and you could fit like 4 people. Very unsafe.
Right.
No seat belts. Everybody's sitting sideways. Absolutely nothing holding you in and stopping you from falling out and dying. And that's a common mode of transportation. But we were in the most pimped out disco tuk-tuk. Big speakers, LED and neon lights all around. It's like, wow, you felt pretty cool.
Nice.
You just have to embrace it. It's
Awesome. Very cool. So would you go back there again?
In a heartbeat.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Third time's a charm.
Yeah.
There was so much more to see too.
Right.
We only did certain areas. I mean, there was so many other places in Thailand. We were all really only in Bangkok and then Phuket and Khao Sok, but there's a whole nother, there was Chiang Mai, which I would have loved to go see.
Okay.
There's a lot to see and do. Our problem was it was originally going to be Australia, and then it was going to be South America, and then it was like, we're running out of time. And I thought, well, Southeast Asia has a bit more infrastructure for travelers because that's their biggest part of their economy in a lot of those countries is tourism. So it's a little easier to go on the fly and wing it.
Right.
Whereas some places you need a lot more logistics planning.
Right.
And we winged, in Hanoi, I think it was Cat Ba. We weren't even going to stay as long as we did, and then we just were enjoying it. So we went down to the hotel and said, "Hey, can we have another night?" And nothing was booked, so we just kept adding, another night. We only knew our when we were going and when we were leaving. Everything in the middle, we kind of were able to play with.
I think there was only one guy who worked at the hotel counter the entire time we were there, and I'm 99% sure he sleeps there. Because we would come in, he would come in at late at night, and then all of a sudden he would just pop up from behind the counter, he must be sleeping down there. Just pop up, happy to see you. It's like, and then you get in the morning, he was there, and he was just always. He's like the guy that owns a convenience store in The Simpsons.
Yep.
And no matter what time of day you go, he's there.
He's there. Yeah.
It's a fun place to go. People are so friendly in that part of the world. Generally, food's fantastic. People are friendly. It's a lot of fun.
Right.
I would have never been worried anywhere we went. I mean, there was some alleys we walked down that if I walked down an alley like that here in New York, I would be scared to death.
Yeah.
And over there, you never thought twice about it.
Really?
Yeah.
No, crime rate's super low. It's weird. You don't feel worried about it at all, even though you're literally as far away from your comfort zone as you could be.
Yeah. I think sometimes that's good though. You push yourself outside of that comfort zone. That's how you sort of,
In the picture behind Chris, this lady in Thailand, this little push cart and everything with a grill.
Yeah.
And they're just grilling a little mystery meat on a stick. And aside from being the greatest thing you've ever eaten in your entire life, you talk about, I don't think that grill had ever been cleaned. Ever since 1978. It's it just that much carbon built up on it. And it's just, you're in a dirty ass alley. There's no way around, no two ways around this. You're in a dirty alley. Literally, there's piles.
Yeah, to the left of that bicycle was
you can
a
see
giant
a pile of garbage in that picture, and if you go down, and there's a dead rat, rat just laying on a pile of garbage, and you're just eating off this cart, and you're just yeah, that sounds like a good idea. Delicious.
So out of the whole trip, is there's like, I know Ryan wanted to get the gecko. Is there any other things that you guys were really hoping to see that you missed?
I mean, I would have loved to have seen a retic,
Yeah.
a worm, blood python. You know, the pythons, obviously, I would have loved to have seen.
Oh, I thought you just wanted to see the turtles and just
Just
gave
the
up on
turtles.
the.
I was looking for the turtles.
No,
I
he got
spent
the
half
turtle.
I
Yeah.
spent half my tubing time awkwardly propping myself up so I could try to look in the water while we were going.
They're looking for mangroves, and he's like, "Where are the turtles?"
At one point, then there's a mangrove that was almost reachable in this branch, and so in the water's really shallow. So me and Ryan kind of like stop ourselves and are on these slippery rocks trying to get a stick and catch this mangrove snake, and it of course went poorly.
Nick lost
as
his
you can
tube.
imagine, falling in the water, lost my tube. Like it's like because everything's all slippery. It's a river bottom,
Right.
Yeah.
but you had to try. I mean,
Of course, yeah.
maybe you touch the mangrove snake, he just starts going up the tree. But,
That's cool.
but stopping for that, we probably missed the actual retic. There was a big snake that crossed the river, and everybody
there
saw
were
it
other
but us.
people with us that screamed snake. And
Right.
all I saw was something with a head, like the head was sticking out of the water and it swam across, but I don't know what it was.
Yeah.
Wow.
That was our retic. That would have been our retic.
Yeah.
Or a king cobra or something, which are also in the national park as well.
Yeah, I guess. Wow. They would be the big retics too, right? Not in
Yeah.
Thailand?
Oh yeah, no.
Yeah.
Thai retics are huge.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
It's
Eating people type of retics.
A sunbeam snake would have been pretty rad too. That'd have been
oh yeah, that would
Yeah.
be cool.
Locks.
I'll go back to the region again. I've been there twice now. It's just I like it quite a bit.
I go back in a heartbeat. No questions asked.
I know Matt Minatola keeps wanting us to head out to Borneo with him, but you know,
That was one of our. We were looking to go to Malaysian Borneo. But again, it's like logistics, COVID policies, and everything. It's to go again this year is probably no problem. But there was still some sort of holdover. We're going to test you, and if you test positive, you have to sit in your hotel for 2 weeks. Like, well, the trip's not even 2 weeks. 2 weeks. Like, the entire time in a tiny hotel room on my own dime. Like, what?
Yeah.
Like, it didn't seem like they would. It wasn't an option to like just put me back on a plane going the other way and kick me out. It was like, nope, you're stuck here. And
Right.
Like, that risk seemed unacceptable because with our luck.
Yep. One of you
One of you would. Yeah.
One would.
Yeah.
And we.
Yeah, it was weird. Taipei was way like they were still like full on acting COVID everything, and then Thailand was nothing. Vietnam was nothing.
Yeah.
Huh.
Taipei at the airport, it was like, wow, they're still playing virus big time.
Wow.
I think if you were getting off the plane there, you had to pick up some rapid test. Like they would give it out. You had to.
Really?
Yeah. If you were leaving the airport, that was your destination. Yeah.
Holy
Wow.
shit.
Yeah. Taiwan still has basically had the same policy as like mainland China, which is just super sort of draconian and even again like scientific literacy people. It's like we know quite a bit now. They're still doing stuff like it's 2019, like when you didn't know.
Right.
When you thought maybe this is the end of the world. We don't know. It's like, well, you do know, and you've known for a few years, but they're still doing crazy stuff, spraying disinfectant on the streets and just crazy things that don't make any difference or any sense.
Oh, wow. They're spraying death on the street. Oh, shit. Okay.
Oh, yeah. No, it's like there's still like, I don't know. I think people in general, they get like the first bit of information and then they don't seek out additional information as more information becomes available. So they just keep sticking with that first little bit and things evolve and change and you learn more and things like that actually mutate and change in a predictable manner. And it's like, but that never seems to get factored into any of these countries' policies to where they're still, you have we knew within like 5 months that this is something that can't be spread on surfaces. Not even a thing.
Right.
And why are you spraying your groceries down? Why are you spraying bus seats down? That's not how it works. If you know that, you're wasting your time. But to continue with, there's a lot of that, just like continuing with policies that like again, your scientific literacy, we know that's an utterly pointless thing to do.
Yeah, that was a terrible time, man. Trying to keep a supermarket clean with, about 20,000 people walking through it.
While people are fighting over toilet paper in the aisles. Yeah.
And it didn't make a lick of difference because that's not how it spreads, at all. Like, you breathe in someone else's breath. That's how it spreads. That's the only way that happens.
Right.
It's pretty easy for that to happen, but that's the only way. You can go lick a bus station bathroom toilet seat, and you will not get it. You will get hepatitis for sure.
Other things will happen.
It's a bad idea. But
Please don't do that.
Don't do things that make sense.
Oh man.
But we had to adjust our travel plans accordingly.
Well, that's always for round 2. That's always it's always a good thing about.
You know what was strange too? So speaking of like the weird policies so we had to wear masks on all the planes when you're being around people. But then you went in the bathroom and it the ass blaster, as we called it, everybody's sharing this thing.
Every
It's
bathroom,
like a kitchen sprayer next to the toilet.
Yeah, it's not like a bidet. Yeah. It's like on the side of your kitchen sink, that sprayer, the button that shoots that torrent of water.
Yeah,
there's one of those.
Oh, jeez.
By on the side of every toilet, and that'd make a mess.
Well, this is
why would you do this?
I think Chris tried it, didn't you?
Yeah, I didn't have a choice.
Yeah.
But then there was one day we were in a restaurant and I asked to use the bathroom, and they basically just send you in the kitchen with the cook and you use their bathroom. And I go back there and there's kids playing on the floor. The chef is cooking the food. And I use the bathroom and it was the filthiest. I wish I had never gone in there. It takes a lot to bother me, and that bothered me.
Really?
But then they're worried about you not wearing a mask.
Right.
The dead rat didn't bother him. But
The dead rat was outside. It's like,
it's funny. I think
it's not here. It's
Chris is used to rats, right? I mean, yeah. Same in Philadelphia, is rats everywhere.
You currently have them here where
I've never seen a rat running around in a city before.
No,
you haven't been to the right city yet. I mean,
I tend to avoid cities.
We're not staying in Philadelphia. However, you will have to pass through Philadelphia.
You will have to come through it. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So, but all right. I don't know if there's anything else you want to hit on, but I got one question that I wanted to get your guys' take on before we jump off. But that will be for the Patreon side of things. But is there anything else you wanted to
pay to get that?
Yeah, hit on?
I would just tell people or encourage people to get out of your comfort zone, get off your couch, go out and see the world, do some things, eat something, go somewhere you're uncomfortable. Do those things. Eat something that you find revolting. Embrace it. Do something. Like, no good story ever started with a salad. Like, get out and eat the weird food. Go to the weird place. Do the thing you never thought you'd do in a million years. That's what life is all about. It's not always about playing it safe and being at home. It's like, get out there, experience it. You're only here for a short time. Get out there.
As much as the herping was, it didn't work out that great. The cultural stuff and being, in a completely different environment outside of Australia or the U.S. was very eye-opening and appealing.
That's cool. Okay.
Yeah.
What about you, Chris?
Yeah, no, same thing Nick said. Guys, I never would have gone on any of these trips. I mean, up until I was like 25, I'd never been on a plane, and I still don't like flying.
Right.
I hate it, but I do it because if I didn't, I'm never going to get anywhere. And now I'm getting on, 16-hour flights.
Right.
Just to go somewhere that I never would have been to before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It feels uncomfortable at first, but once you do it, you realize that usually those things that make you feel uncomfortable end up being the most fun that you had, because you're doing something different, unique, something new.
It's too easy to talk yourself out of it.
Yes.
Wow.
any day that you see something you've never seen, experience something you've never experienced, eat something you've never eaten, that's a good day.
Yeah.
And people, I don't know. That's my definition of, living life. You got to get out there and do it. And there's this whole world out there, and it's mostly not where you live. There's all this other stuff, and to get out and just experience it. I can't imagine not traveling.
Yeah. I will say, like in the early years of NPR, Nick was constantly trying to get me to travel to like Australia. What are you doing? Blah, blah, blah. And I just kept putting it off and putting it off. And man, I wish I would have did it way earlier. I'm glad I did do it, but I wish I would have done it earlier and taken that advice. So that would be my advice to people. It really is. It's just an experience, and then you'll have stories for the rest of your life.
This year's the resurrection of Carpet Fest.
Yes.
You should give serious consideration to like International Carpet Fest.
I would love that.
We've talked about it.
Southern Europe or Australia or somewhere else, and just like there's always a community of people like have a big get together and then go herping and all that. And some of these other places would be awesome.
Yeah.
100%.
I would be all for that.
And I would be able to write it off on my taxes as a.
All right. Yeah, I got it. Yeah.
So I'm all for it.
You and Justin always looking for business write-ups.
Right?
Yeah, why not?
I definitely pay my taxes, my share of taxes. So.
I write off my whole life if I can.
I'm doing my taxes now. I'm doing my taxes now.
Justin talked to us about the book when we were in Texas is that then he could write the entire trip off as research. Yeah. The only reason he tells us anything about the books that are coming up is because he can be like, so what do you guys think? And then we go, well, it doesn't matter. And then he just writes it off.
You wait, so it was all about a consultation.
I know.
All right, everybody, thank you for listening. And if you want to follow us, check us out on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube at the NPR Network. Follow all the podcasts that are on the network. And if you want to get in touch with us, please reach out, info@Morelia Python Radio. Check out our Teespring store for some swag. And if you want to take it a step further, go check out our Patreon. Thanks for listening, and see you in the next episode.